Now, I have made one paragraph summary of the first canto and another paragraph summary of the second canto of the Book of It. Savitri's love for Satyavan is an incontingent love. It does not depend upon any factors. It is absolute love. But it must presently face the worldly odds. That is important. Because she has taken human birth, she must face the worldly odds. It is absolute love, nothing can intervene there, you see. Still, because she is in the human state, she has to face the odds of mortality. Complex is the web of destiny, and there is also the higher involvement. Savitri has taken the birth, and the destiny is many winding, many strings enter into its weaving, and therefore it's complex. Narad has taken on himself an onerous task, obviously, to come here. Onerous in many ways. He has to appear in the palace in a physical body. His spiritual body has to become material body. That is a difficult task. It's an onerous task, but he does it. At the same time, psychologically, in the same time, from the point of view of the evolutionary development, he is taking a kind of a crucial assignment. You see. Savitri has come to know love, but she must also know death. In fact, we can say that the entire mission of Narad lies in the second part of the sentence. She must know death. She has found Satyavan, she met love, but she must meet death also. To timely impart that knowledge, he hastens to Ashwapati's palace and makes known to her the impending doom. Because that is how she will meet death. There has to be a physical cause to meet death. It is not in the occult you meet. She has to see physically death here. See. He comes down from his paradisal home singing 5 songs that culminate in the glory and marvel about to be born soon upon earth. As he's coming down, he's singing songs, 5 songs. And ultimately, in the evolutionary process, there will be the birth of glory and marvel. There will be transfiguration and ecstasy connected with that. He is warmly received. Savitri discloses her meeting with Satyavan. He is coming in the palace. Now she discloses that she met Satyavan. Although Narad knows it from above, but she has to say now here. But alas, it has also something ominous in it. Narad skirts the issue in the beginning. He tries to avoid telling what is behind it, what is involved in it, but is persuaded to divulge the truth. He must speak out. Ashwapati, then the queen gets alarmed. No, no, please tell me what's the matter, what's the trouble, and all that kind of thing. In the sequel, he, as if tightens the grip of adverse fate by speaking out Satyavan's death. Fate is there, but it tightens the grip of it. That fate should not really loosen its grip on Savitri. Fate must do what fate is supposed to do. You see. In that process, Savitri also gets firmed up in the resolve. In this sequel, as if tighten the grip of adverse fate by speaking out Satyavan's death 1 year after the marriage. However, for Savitri's mother, Malavi, this is altogether unacceptable. Obviously, she pleads to Savitri and understandably so, in the way of human pragmatism to make another choice. Tell Savitri, please go and find some other youth. But Savitri is firm in her resolve, maintaining that it was her soul's decision and it was not necessary for her to reverse it. So that is the summary of the first canto.
Why 5 songs?
While he's coming down, he's singing the entire song of creation,
Okay.
how from inconscious things happen, etc., etc. All those he's singing in the happiness of Vishnu, you see. He has to travel all the way, so he has to keep on singing something, you see. By the way, this is a wonderful thing in the sense that there is a certain epic tradition of introducing somewhere in the sequel of the storytelling a song or a session connected with music. This is an epic tradition, you see. In Virgil, when Aeneas goes to the palace of the queen there, the minstrel sings the song, you see, there. It's there everywhere. So that way Shivandu has introduced from that angle, this is a very beautiful occasion for him to introduce the aspect of song in the epic. And he sings 5 songs. And all, at the same time, this song is functional. Is functional, you see. Now, the same thing, what we had this summary, I have put it in 12 lines of poetry. But a black tiger stood on the stealthy way. Savitri is coming back from the Shalva woods, and on the way, there is a black tiger sitting across the path. But a black tiger stood on the stealthy way, and Narad saw him from his home in Vaikuntha, and hastened that be known to Savitri. He is coming rushingly. Look, Savitri, that black tiger is sitting there. Here is the body and Satyavan. Now, this is the most beautiful thing. Here is the body. It is the ancient spiritual tradition of India that a complete year is a body of Brahma. So when it passes through that 1 year, one cycle of Brahma is over, another cycle has to begin. Another cycle has to begin. Another day has to dawn. Therefore, here is the body, and after the end of the year, therefore that body must go away, must be abandoned, so that you take a new body. Here is the body, and Satyavan, when fly away 12 birds of time shall die. Because here is the body, he must die. In the earthly soil was cast the occult seed. Well, that is what Narad did. The occult seed is cast with you. An imponderable, wonderful, bright. No human mind would comprehend its working. That occult seed, how it is going to work, what is going to happen, it is beyond the mental capacity. No heart's passion halt the advancing doom. Savitri's mother or whosoever it be, no heart's passion can stop that advancing doom. And truer yet became Savitri's resolve. Because of that, Savitri has become more and more firm in her resolve. If love came from the old creation to die, then new shall take birth in the glory of death. That is Savitri's resolve. So this is the poetic summary of the first canto of Savitri. You see. Now, in the same way, this second canto, the way of fate and the problem of pain, the emotion charged mother questions the way the heavenly powers toy with a human lot. See, they're really toying with us. She wonders how at all grief and pain should have found a place in God's creation. This is God's creation, how at all. She wonders how at all grief and pain should have found a place in God's creation. Or could it be that some disastrous power managed to mar his beautiful work, God's work? Somehow something has intervened and managed to God's work. She seems to be miffed by destiny and is reacting sharply. Obviously, you see, she's reacting sharply. She's really miffed. But Narad revealed the sense of mystery that lies behind it. It is pain that shapes the fiery spirit, ultimately to triumph over all obstacles. Triumph who? Spirit. The spirit is shaped by pain. For what? To triumph over all obstacles. In any case, it was man's soul that had longed for adventure, and he should not complain about it. You wanted this adventure, okay, you face it, face the music of your whole process. Enjoy it also. It saw the possibility of a new creation, man's soul, new creation, emerging out of ignorance and opted to participate in it. Yes, there is a possibility of new creation. Therefore, you have come here, you have opted to participate in the whole process. So don't complain about that. Narad asserts that Savitri's will is fully in accord with that original wisdom, and she must be left to live in it. Whatever happens, she must live. Satyavan's death is the spirit's exceptional prospect, and the sage effectively tells that such an opportunity should not be squandered away. Yes, this opportunity of death has come and should not be wasted. Accept it. God given is her might, and she needs no other help to carry out her work. She, the incarnate Shakti, must meet death and transform him. Now, again, this whole thing, I tried to put in 12 lines. You see, all those 800 odd lines, the foolish attempt, but still, it is like trying to grow ikebana, a banyan tree, in a small pot. You see, falsehood is sorrow of the supreme. Now, falsehood is the sorrow of the supreme. This is mother's statement. She said that falsehood is sorrow of the supreme. She does not say something wrong about falsehood. It is one facet of the supreme. She does not say it is antagonistic to the supreme. It is sorrow for a certain purpose. And not for nothing was this creation made, and not for failure the sacrifice performed. Yes, the sacrifice was made, not to fail. It was done with a purpose. It will yield result. Not this world, but pain is deep illusion. Don't call this world mithya, illusionary. It is not world which is mithya, illusionary. It is pain which is illusion. And when the price is paid, it turns into joy. But only the great in soul can bear its stroke and walk through death as through door of the sun. Only the great they can walk. Suryasya dwaraha, the gate to the sun. Savitri must wage the battle of Savitri must wage the battle for God and meet the stark foes in the flame of her will. In fact, that is what happens. She becomes so bright, brilliant, flaming that the spirit of death gets consumed in it. Literally. The shadow disappears into it. And meet the stark foes in the flame of her will. Her way to the high runs to the bosom of night. And when is kindled the fire in trance of sleep, when the fire is kindled in your Sushupti consciousness, trance of sleep, she can house victory's power and the challenge face. She can face the challenge then. She can house victory's power. That is what she is doing, embody. And face the challenge after housing that power in her. Well, so this is the summary of the.
Very creative.
Pardon?
Very creative.
In 12 lines,